just as Democrats are hoping Trump runs, I think a lot of Republicans are hoping Biden does.
Yeah.
But anyway, just staying in the G20 in Bali, there was a lot of talk about our Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese's brilliant diplomatic coup in scoring a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. My theory is that she senses he is not as strong domestically anymore, and therefore he can't be such a bully internationally any longer. Do you think Albo's just the beneficiary of good timing here?
I always assume the Chinese are bullying if they look like it. And I think some of President Xi's words were very much, yeah, we can be friends if you just come round to see the world we do. You know, that was the sort of message. And I think there's a danger here because although I think generally Albanese and his Foreign Minister Penny Wong have been fairly strong and held the line on China, they do have this weak spot, and it's called Gough Whitlam. And in there, you know, part of the Labour legend is Gough Whitlam was the man who discovered Asia. Nobody knew it was there before. And then he went in and he was the one who built diplomatic relations with China, as he did. But I think we might have spoken about this too. He did it 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks into becoming Prime Minister in a big rush because he wanted to make it part of his legacy. This is Gough Whitlam. And afterwards, people said, what do you sign that deal for? It basically gave away Taiwan. Whereas other countries entered diplomatic relations with China with a lot more nuance about Taiwan, not saying, you know, you're welcome to walk in, chums, as ours basically did. So I think this is the danger, that Albanese is thinking, I've got to get my legacy secured before somebody knocks me off.
Is that what The Voice is about, The Voice to Parliament?
I think so, definitely, Fred, because all the wise heads around the place are saying, don't rush into this, right? The public are not quite sure what it is. In any case, they've got their minds distracted by a little thing called inflation and other matters going on around. It's not a good time to be doing it, and if you rush it, there's a danger that people go and say, I don't understand, I'm not voting for it. And that's what I hear so many people saying, even people that would lean, definitely people in favour of The Voice, but even people you'd think of as being on the Labour side in favour of The Voice. They're almost saying, don't do it this term of government, but he's determined, he's made up his mind.
Well, he might wind up emulating Gough Whitlam in another way as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about another luminary from the Labor Party, Dan Andrews, who has an iron grip on Victoria, but that seems to be getting looser. Sky News broadcast a brilliant expose of his cult-like status by Peter Credlin last night. Can Andrews lose in the forthcoming state election, and if so, why, Nick?
I mean, you're looking from outside Victoria and you're reading this and you're watching Peter's incredibly good documentary on this and you just go, this guy's gone. But when you look at the polling down there on the ground and you talk to people who are involved in the campaign from the Liberal Party side, there's no expectation that they're going to take back government. I mean, Dan may lose a little bit of skin, but I suspect we'll all be surprised how little skin he loses. Because, I mean, the thing about the documentary was exposed was that Dan Andrews is basically runs the place with the manner of a Chinese dictator. You know, anybody who criticises him gets shoved off on the left, gets shoved off into in the cold room, and all these things go on to make sure that people fall behind him. And he has this massive staff. He has more than 90 staff compared to the Prime Minister's 50, right? So. And most of those are involved in media. He's got one of the most, possibly the most sophisticated social media campaign of any politician in the country, running 24/7, well-staffed. So yeah, he knows how to manipulate it. And yeah, let's face it, the Libs haven't been exactly crash hot down there, have they? I think even on their own admission, they've had the best few years in opposition.